Go Speed Racer. Go Speed Racer. Go Speed Racer. Go.
We are not watching the cartoon Speed Racer.
No, we're not.
No, we are not.
What are we watching, Bradshaw?
The
We're watching Speed
Wachowskis.
Racer.
The
The
Wachowskis
the
version
Speed Racer.
We're what? No.
of Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Wachowskis version of Speed Racer. Criminally underrated.
Super underrated.
so
criminally,
underrated.
criminally ill-attended.
I 100% understand why it didn't do well at the box office.
Yes.
But so criminally underrated because this movie is...
I went to this in theaters with my girlfriend when it came out.
Better than 2/3 of their Matrix trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so tight. It's so concise of a movie. It's so
They
energetic
knew
and so fun.
exactly
Yeah.
what they were doing with this movie, and they just went all out with it. And I love it because more movies based on properties like this need to do that, where they don't do a live action version and then only half-ass it. Like they're making a live action Gundam movie.
Yeah.
I honestly hope it's somewhat like this.
They
where,
are-
like
They are working with Sunrise, the people who
Yeah.
do so they're working with the people that are in charge of it.
but
So hopefully
they-
that's good.
I just this
No more
this
digression.
movie is so pleasant,
It's
so nice.
colorful, so
It is so like
fun
and
and
it's such like for as like more realistic as they've made it look, it's very much almost a literal translation of
It's
a
a
cartoon
spot
show.
on.
It's a
It is
perfect-
spot on.
translation
With
of a cartoon.
we got in the I don't know if we clearly say it, but it's the Wachowski Speed Racer.
Yes.
Yes.
Live action.
Live
Wachowski
action.
Speed Racer.
There's the
starring-
picture.
What year? well,
Starring Emil Hirsch
Yep.
as Speed. who
Matthew
has said-
Fox. as
2008.
Matthew
Race-
Fox
Racer X.
as Racer X. John Goodman
John
Oh,
Goodman
yeah.
as the daddy,
Pops.
as the pops.
Pops Racer.
Christina Ricci.
Susan
Christina
Sarandon.
Ricci, yep, Susan Sarandon. So many people.
Yeah. Big
Emil
old
Hirsch
cast.
has even said like that he would love to do a second one of this. Like recently, like really recently they talked to him. He's like, my kids fucking love watching the first one, like so much.
I'm sure they do.
I would love to do a second one.
It's rated PG.
Well,
like
but-
this is.
showed this
even
to
though
my-
This theoretically should be a children's movie. I mean,
Dude, but it's not.
it's got great action in it. No,
It
it's,
is, but
not a,
but
it's
it's
not a kid's
but it's not.
There's a
Especially-
lot of dark
I mean, like
tones.
Racer X. Though Racer X has always had that kind of.
That's not
thing
too
about
bad.
it.
He's edgy. Yeah,
That's not
he's an
too
edgy.
bad.
He's an edgy character, and there's like edgy people that he talks to in the movie.
Spoilers for the movie.
Yep.
Racer X survives at the end,
Yeah.
so like for a kid, not that scary.
Well,
it's
but-
it's just
Well, and it's the again spoilers. He's Speed's brother.
yeah.
So that's the
Who
that's,
Speed and the family are still
Convinced he's-
unbeknownst.
Wait, you didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, he's like
Big reveal.
he's
convinced
the only one that knows, and Inspector Detector knows.
Yeah, they're convinced he's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where that darker side of Racer X that I was talking about is he's a man you think is dead.
Yeah.
And it's,
But he's the anti-hero throughout the whole film.
yeah. And that's-
Visually-
I was like, I mean, but,
This movie.
He doesn't ever
will
say
blow you, like,
I'm your
That'd be the best.
break you.
Racer X. Ha.
Speed Racer, you are my brother.
Yes.
No, there's none of that. This movie, seeing it in theaters, just
Yeah.
blew.
Me and you went and
watching
saw
it.
it.
Watching it on on a TV even just is breathtaking to behold because the use of color and brightness and even the music and the sound is just so true to the show.
I remember going to see it because me and you went and saw it.
Yes.
And you won't know this unless you are from our hometown, but at West Acres Cinema, the movie theater we went and saw it at, like they have when they did their expansion thing, they have those two kind of shitty side theaters, like by the entryway to the ultra screen. It was in one of those,
Yeah.
so it was like
And there was almost
Yeah.
nobody else in the theater.
yeah, it was like 10 people.
So we were like smack dab in the perfect viewing seats, ready to go for whatever Speed Racer was going to be. And then the intro with the very opening of the credits here just started. And we were like, okay, we're in for some shit.
Yeah, dude. Right. Yeah, and it was
From the-
just like, wow, this was not what I was expecting.
But
you know?
it wasn't an unpleasant surprise.
No, it was a pleasant surprise.
Look at the category: children and family movies, movies for ages 5 to 7. Whew. I was not the target demographic.
No,
Not at all.
or what they assume the target demographic is.
Yeah, I guess.
I also want to say too, for anybody interested in Speed Racer, just the franchise in general, they have the old Speed Racer on the on the Funimation app.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, I went back and I watched some of it.
Yes, that's on there. And then there's also a couple series of stellar ass fucking Speed Racer comics too, with Alex Ross cover art. Who's, if you know anything about comic books, he does these great like big painted, realistic looking ass stuff, and he did ones for that. It's kind of the same time when he was doing like the Space Ghost covers too.
Oh, yeah.
Like yeah, really sweet shit. So check those out too. Just get in on the Speed Racer.
There's so like
Except there's a really shitty like direct to DVD newer one that I saw
yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it, but I saw it in Walmart.
Oh,
to the future or something like that.
And he looks like the a chiseled jawed fucking
no,
like
we were
American
looking
boy.
for a movie to watch and we saw that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
It was like
yeah.
Speed to the Future or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Don't watch that. Don't
We,
watch that.
we were
watch
listing
that.
all the people in this.
We should watch it as a bonus
And-
addendum to this.
Okay.
Okay. John Goodman is Pops. Like,
Yeah.
Perfect Pops.
Yeah.
He's one of those dudes that was just like you'd think he's like he was perfect for so many like cartoon things. It was like, who do you want as Pops? John Goodman. Who do you want as Fred Flintstone? John Goodman.
Or my uncle.
Yeah, your uncle does a lot of Fred Flintstone.
I tell people that all the time. They don't believe me. And then they meet
It's
him. and
very true.
It's flabbergasting.
Yeah.
Never used that in the past tense.
But yeah, John Goodman is just perfect. He looked like
Yeah.
he should have been the dad in Dinosaurs. The
Christina
fucking
Ricci
TV show from
also.
the 90s.
Yeah.
Perfect for the role.
He was a dinosaur and we're back.
He was a dinosaur. We're back. Yeah.
He was
Susan Sarandon.
Susan
Yep.
Pretty
Sarandon.
pretty darn good casting
She's
for
a
the mom.
great mom in this.
Susan Saran Wrap.
Well, and visually too, just compared to the animated version of the mother.
And
Yep.
she's such a decent, wholesome mom and like just wants to like do right by her family and
Yeah.
Yep.
be a good
I
house
still
center,
just
cornerstone.
like am so impressed by visually how well this not only matches up to what the show is, but also looks great. It performs well. Everything, like there's some stuff that CGI with like the tracks and the cars that isn't the best CGI in the world, but it doesn't need to be. It's cartoony.
It's not trying to. Yeah,
enough
it's not trying to be
where-
hyper realistic.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
like-
perfectly fine.
it's like this is realistic, but also we want it to be super cartoony.
Which is opposite
Which
of like
adds to
what
it.
the new Power Rangers did. In my opinion, they tried to make it more realistic ish than like going
just gold.
yeah.
I'm just
No.
a gold
The-
molten
The
mass.
new
That doesn't
movie,
talk.
like looking at some of these dinosaurs, I can't tell what fucking dinosaur it is.
Yeah.
It's just a metal
Except
colored thing
the
in the
mastodon.
general shape. Yeah, except like the mastodon and sort of the T-Rex. Like,
But
they-
yeah, it
they
was
look like
they took the cartoony superhero part out of it.
and tried to make it like more
Yeah,
realistic,
more sci-fi.
Yeah, like sci-fi inspired.
Yeah.
Tried
to make Chronicle the Power Rangers.
They did because that was with the directors, aren't they?
No, wasn't Josh Trank.
Oh.
Oh,
But
maybe.
there was I think there was
Just
a
had that
draft.
feel. It had
There was a
that feel.
draft that I think that was written by fucking Landis though. I think
Landis.
maybe.
Maximilian.
Yep.
Well, we haven't even started
Oh,
this
boy.
movie yet. Should we just get into it and
Should we
then
get into it?
cover more stuff afterwards?
Yes, let's do it.
Yep.
Let's jump into it.
Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer,
Yeah. Drop that Mark 5
go.
Speed Racer.
And now, our feature presentation.
The average NASCAR lap length is 2.5 miles.
2.5.
The Daytona
Yeah, somebody
International
got started.
Speed. The Daytona International Speedway.
Smell the rubber burning. Gotta go with him.
The top prize.
I got some baby. Give me some
No,
baby.
they don't need this
Yeah,
shit.
boom.
But yeah, so each
Michael
lap
Giacchino.
in the Daytona 500 is
2.5.
2.5 miles. So
That's the Daytona 500. Is that like regulation?
Jamming
for
down the pedal like he's never
specific
coming back.
class or
His
tier?
ventures waiting
Not that I
just
need to know these
ahead.
answers. I'm just curious.
Go, Speed Racer.
Because that'll probably take you a little bit of research to find that out.
Now a go.
Go, John Goodman.
Okay, so-
Go, John Goodman.
the Daytona 500, it's not 500 laps, it's 500 miles. So it's
Damn.
it's 200 laps.
Damn.
Still. Oh, they have like
Yeah.
audio from the original. Beat you. That's like Royalton, basically. So we just finished Speed Racer, everybody.
What was?
How'd you guys like that movie?
Did you hear the? Did you hear the Vincent Price laugh right there?
Yeah.
The thriller laugh. That movie ruled.
Yunnan.
I still love this movie.
Yeah, I think this is always a really good movie to watch in the summertime. It's got the summertime vibes with
Yeah.
the colorfulness
Bright
and
colors.
The blue sky, everything's nice and bright and outside.
super cheery.
Yeah. The monkey driving.
I always do that with some films. Like I can always return to them at a certain time of year. Just be like, yeah, I can watch this now.
Yeah. So Speed Racer, guys.
Yeah, Emil Hirsch. He was a pretty dang good Speed, I guess.
He does.
A lot of good grimaces, a lot of good faces while he was.
He nailed the
Get
speed
that weak
the
stuff off
speed
my
pose,
track.
the pose with
Yeah,
the point
yeah,
and shit when he jumps out of the car.
The
It's
hand
like,
up,
ha!
ha, go, go.
I'm a go-go racer, Speed.
The best depiction of a character, though, was Pops.
Pops, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a perfect translation
Yeah.
to live action.
Mm-hmm.
Chim Chim.
Chim Chim was, Chim Chim.
It was about Chim Chim.
You can do whatever.
There was. I feel like we were like. The three of us were more talkative during this movie than we have been for the other ones because
I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
yeah, and we knew what there was nothing that we were gonna like see this time that we hadn't seen
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Because it's
We
simple
know
enough
the themes. We know.
Yeah.
We know the play-by-play.
Yeah. So that we
We were reciting lines before they even happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had some riffing and tangents and all kinds of stuff going
Richard
on. but
Roundtree.
that didn't take away from the movie at all. We weren't bored. We were
No.
totally engaged, but it was
Yeah.
it's
It
just
was-
that kind of movie. Like once
Yep.
you've seen it enough, you're just like, all right,
You
start
know.
the ride. Let's go.
We just needed a refresher in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be like, yep, there's this.
There you are, Emil. Look at that shot right there. Like that image of him in the blue shirt with the helmet
Yep.
and in the Mach 5, and you can see the
Classic
symbol
Mach
on the
5,
helmet. And
yep.
that's so.
That's classic
That's
Speed.
spot on.
So yeah, let's talk about the. I guess the. What do you think the movie was trying to portray? Story. Like, what do you think the story was about?
Family.
I think it was about corruption. and-
Corruption, yes. The loss of innocence.
I think it was about.
It was a coming of age.
It was more about family dynamics and sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
I
yeah.
think it was about coming to terms with who you are and what you must sacrifice to learn who you are truly.
Yes.
Well, just I mean, like because he.
Do you think it's more of a Speed Racer movie, or do you think it's more of a Rex Racer movie?
It's a Speed Racer movie.
It's Speed.
I'd
Rex-
say
Rex-
it's dual because at the beginning it's Speed reminiscing about Rex,
Right.
and then there's a middle part where they both combine their stories to Rex and Speed have to
Yeah.
accomplish this, and then at
But
the
you
end,
don't get the real Rex reveal until the end.
Their
So it's not-
storylines make an X.
they do.
They
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 cross.
cross.
start in opposite paths, they cross, and then they leave each other,
They
and it's a
deviate, yep.
beautiful X.
Yeah.
And right in the middle, he confronts Racer X like, "Are you my brother?" And he takes
Yep.
it off. He's like, "No, I'm
Nah,
not your
bro.
brother."
Oh, no,
I'm
no.
not, I ain't your bra, bro.
So then at that point, X goes on his own way. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
still your brother, and like I'm liking what you're doing. You're innocent.
I
I
like
want
what
you
you're
to
doing. I'm a fan.
Keep on keeping on.
keep on keeping on, keep on trucking,
Yeah.
keep on racing,
Yep.
little bro.
Hey, chug along.
I'm just gonna be the
Spectre.
anti-hero,
Yep.
spectator, watching your every move and just doing everything in the shadows.
I will be lurking. I will be peeping.
I'll be a spectral presence.
I will be in the rafters of
I
your
like
life.
to think that it's a family movie, and the family is, Racer being the cornerstone of the family, basically. Like everything revolves around him, and then Rex wanting to be away from the family but protecting them from afar from
Yeah.
all this evil stuff that happens.
You know,
So
when
it's
you-
still a family movie, but it's Speed Racer from one point of view and Rex from the other point of view.
You know how like on like certain things when your name is listed last name first and first name second. What do you get when you do that with Rex Racer?
Wait, no, I know this one. Bush did 9/11.
Racer X.
Well,
But do you know what race,
Racer
do you know what race car spelled backwards is?
X.
No, if you
It's
don't know,
race car.
yeah, it's race car.
It's race car.
It's race car.
That's a palindrome.
Palindromes.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's funny how Racer X is like he's definitely a big part in this movie, and I think that was because he's a fan favorite character,
Yes.
and it was good that they
They ended on him.
They balanced it out very well because they very well could have logged it down with trying to overdevelop both of them.
if he wasn't in here, or if he was in here and they didn't go into any backstory,
I think
and
they
he was
developed
literally
Rex
just
way
Racer
more
X,
than Racer.
like
Speed, I mean.
Speed, really?
imagine
They developed
Well, I get
Racer X way more.
Racer X gets more like
Motivation.
present day like everything development, where Speed, a lot of his development is shown through his past.
A lot of stuff is reminiscent of his brother, wanting to be his
Yeah.
brother, basically, be a better racer.
Yeah.
and
And
that,
then Rex had like that whole backstory with the bomb and the little go kart that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rex knew what that was instantly. He's like, "Oh shit, they're gonna get me!" So he's
Yeah.
just like pushes it out in the street and it blows up. And he's like, "I have to protect my family at all costs, and I'm gonna basically go undercover and protect."
But again,
them.
that was all at the very end.
not the bomb.
The whole reveal of the bomb blowing his shit
No,
up
no, the
and-
bomb on the go kart.
Oh,
the
okay,
beginning.
yeah,
bomb.
yeah.
So at that point, he knew that people were after his family.
But-
So he wanted to go undercover somehow. So he had to fake his own death to
Just-
help his family.
Just imagine what they would have filled this movie with if they didn't put that in a, like they always, when they're doing the flashbacks, it has something to do with Rex or like that background or that history.
Well,
If
it's
they
all
didn't-
definitely like centered around Rex and what happened to
Yeah,
him.
like if he wasn't such a heavy element in this movie, it wouldn't be
Speed
as
won't
long
have
as
the
it is.
motivation. The family won't have the dilemma with his racing.
It would have been padded out with like different scenes that would have been not affecting the plot at all. It would have been stuff with like Speed at home and Chim Chim and Spritle going crazy, and I'm blanking on the character's name, Christina Ricci's character.
Trixie.
Trixie would have been there, like some good old tomfoolery that really doesn't matter in the end.
I know,
It's just
and
a fun scene.
their dynamics at home were like Speed is lazy. That's what you convey from him, because he was always just hanging out with Trixie in the
Half
car,
asleep.
watching things, and he would wake up late and just be like, "Hey guys,
They just
what
have
you
like
doing?"
all the food ready for him, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they
the-
just
I mean,
they pamper him and
the
everything.
entire family like
He's the
lives
golden
to
child.
support him pretty much. Yeah, like I kind of jokingly said that he's like a racing horse, like a show horse or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you only take him out of his stable when he's needed, and then he goes back in his stable, and like. But
And
that,
he's-
that kind of is his life. Like he's such a professional.
But he's
at
very
what he does. that-
He has really strong convictions about corporations being,
Yeah.
like he says, the devil. Like
Yeah.
corporations, like you are the devil, and in my house, racing is like a religion to
Yeah.
me. And I think of it like something more transcendent than what you think it is. It's not just
Well,
a business.
yeah,
to me
like-
and my family.
And I took that being as like for this entire
Yeah,
family.
it's passion versus money.
Yeah,
Yep.
like they are anything that takes away from the purity of two people trying to get to one place before one another is like the devil. So
Yeah.
the corporation being what they are and being sponsors and everything is like the biggest signifier of that. And the entire family is like, ah. And when he's like, have these guys read the rule book? Like they're all about the purity and the
Yeah.
integrity of racing, and how dare you besmirch that? And
Yeah, they're all for it's a sanctity. There's like every time he gets in the car, it's like a benediction of
Yeah.
some sort. So it's like he's blessing his talent with racing and showing everybody how great he is at racing, and he's so pure at it. He doesn't use
He's
any.
performing the mass.
Yeah, it's an allegory for a lot of like religious tones and
Yeah.
things like that, with corporations being evil, this family being wholesome and genuine and just all around good people that overcome that evil
he
by
defeated
doing
the evil snake.
Personally sacrificing himself
for the betterment of his family.
to be put on a cross.
an X.
X, yeah.
He
Woo!
went. He went.
You jump there and you're like, I don't know how I got there.
He went. No,
That
I'm,
scared
I'm on
you.
the same path.
No,
he
so am
went
I.
into that.
I wanted us to get there.
Yeah,
Hellmouth cave,
the mouth of death.
which was representative of him traveling through hell, or a character's, the hero
Death,
arc,
dying.
like going
Yep.
through the hardest time to then come out better on the other end. And
Yep.
why
Transformed
Why are we?
physically too. Like the Jeebus.
He lost an arm in there. Yep.
The
Like the
Jeebus
J-Man.
did that too. The Jeebus
Deformed.
when the Jeebus
Horribly
died,
maimed.
when he died, and then he came back, he looked different.
He came
than
back
when
3
he
laps
did.
later.
3 laps later.
3 laps later,
And
he raced again, dude.
And Trixie was like Lot's wife. She was made of salt. She was a salt lass. She looked back on the laps.
Raced again on the third day.
On the third day, he
Vroom,
raced
vroom,
again.
bitch. Like he just pulls up in a fucking like top down hot rod. Like, "Hey, get in, babe. We're gonna go do some racing. I'm Jesus."
But yeah, it's a strong, like, a lot of Wachowski things are allegories for
Jesus.
religious things.
So
Like
Matrix?
Matrix was like, Neo is basically
Jesus.
digital Jesus.
Okay.
And this is Jesus.
We have a father, a son, and somebody who is presumed to be dead, but then lurks around like a specter,
Son
a
of the
fucking
Holy
holy
Ghost.
ghost.
He's the holiest. of
Because if
ghosts.
racing's a religion, woo!
I mean, he couldn't have laid it on thicker with that speech he gave to Royalton. He's like, you know what, you guys are like the devil, and you know, in my family,
and he
racing's
wears
like a
he wears
religion."
white a lot.
Yeah.
He's
Speed
pure.
does?
Yep.
He wears a kerchief like Jesus did.
That
I don't know if
famous
that's
ass
true.
Jesus kerchief.
Hanging on the cross just with the kerchief.
The awesome little neckerchief. Yep.
My arms hurt, but my neck is not cold.
I feel good. I feel good.
Direct
Dude.
quote from Jesus, everybody read the
Direct
Bible.
quote from Jesus.
I mean, it's not as we're saying really like we're totally blaspheming.
No.
We are
No.
reading way into this, but like there are
subtle
some subtle
undertones of
If
this.
you look for it, you can find it.
if you
Yeah.
look for it, it's not
And I mean,
It was
it's
they're
not in your
notorious
face
for
at all.
that, like we said with the Matrix.
Yeah, with the
so
Matrix.
it's not anything new, but it's still kind of interesting that you can get to that concept.
Yeah.
Within this movie being super kiddie, super fun and energetic, but it has these tones.
The M on the Mach 5 is for my God.
And he drives the only white car I saw.
yeah.
Because that is his God.
He's pure.
If racing is religion, God is a car.
And God, or I mean, cars are living, breathing things in this
Yeah.
universe.
You gotta
Like,
listen to him. Can
Rex-
you hear it? Can you hear? Are you in tune? Like the prayers, like
Yep.
Because in the end, he's like, "Come on, baby,
Listen
come
to
on." Like,
her. Listen to her.
whoa, we are really going down a rabbit hole here. And
He is Speed is Peter, the apostle and the first pope,
where's the lion's den?
driving the religion forward.
What?
And then he, at the end, when he goes through the Grand Prix, I mean the
Yeah.
finish line, it goes through that tunnel.
Yep.
He entered.
He's ascended into heaven.
He's ascended. Yeah. He's,
in heaven, you get milk, and also there's the Hulkster.
and the Chim Chim.
the Hulkster in heaven, dude. Oh.
Yeah, there was an interlude where I played Hulkster in Heaven for these guys.
Look it up; it's worth your time.
Oh God.
Oh God, for true.
Yeah, this movie is like very effect heavy. It is a like as much of a cartoon as you can get with real
It's
people. in it.
it's like the cartoonier Sin City / Zack Snyder movie. That's all green screen.
It's all stylistic.
To me, the
style.
costuming and the set design and everything like that is like sort of evocative of the Scooby-Doo live action ones, where it was
Scoobus Doobus.
they
Scoobert-Doobert.
tried like in the beginning of the first Scooby-Doo movie, they're all
Yeah.
in like their classic get-ups, but then they change into like more modern outfits through the
Except
rest
for
of the
Shaggy.
movie.
Right.
And
Because he's stuck in the past.
this is much more like he has a couple of times where he's wearing like a blue leather jacket and a white shirt underneath, and it's evocative of his classic, like what we see here, the blue shirt with like the white lapels and everything.
Yeah.
And
She busts out because he's in the desert. Mm-hmm. It's hot out. Can't have that leather jacket on.
And he has the
And-
purpose for the necker.
yeah, the
chip.
neckerchief.
He, like, puts it
there
over
might
his
be get
mouth
some
for
sand
the
and
dust
just up
and
in his
sand.
face.
Yep.
it works.
It does.
It works well. Yeah,
Um,
like one of the most fun sequences in this movie for me is the whole hotel thing, like the whole Nanja
Yeah.
sequence when they're getting to the hotel, the scene with Trixie, the little argument, the Nanjas, and I like that whole thing's just fun.
What visual motif is your favorite?
What do you mean by motif?
Just like
reoccurring.
reoccurring
visual
thing that's happened.
I
in
love the
episodes.
transitions of all the faces that come across screen, or random things that are in the scene that they use as a wipe to show
the
another
character,
part.
character, and then it's scene wipes with the character.
Or penguins,
Yep.
or cars.
It kind of
Yep.
like trains the audience for the very end when everything gets so visually busy. And not only are they doing a ton of those wipes, but then once he starts like the very, very end before he finishes the cross, like the finishing line, everything past him is just turning into blurs, and you can't even like he's racing and he's going really fast, but you don't see any of that detail. It's all just like becoming blurs. So all those different wipes and different things that they've been doing throughout the movie, I think, are kind of like because in the end you're seeing like everybody's like when he's about to start the racing, everybody's going across the screen,
and it's that anticipation moment where it's like,
Yeah.
It is such like a literal translation of like anime shit too.
Yep.
With when people will just kind of appear across the screen and just fucking glide by real quick as they say something.
oh yeah, yeah.
Because there's a lot of those just like straight literal like translations of anime motifs.
in this, for sure. I mean, that's a cool motif. The
fight sequences where it still moves around like that, and it's got the random backgrounds and shit, little whoosh lines and
yeah,
shit.
they didn't
exaggerated movements and
where they didn't
posing.
actually do push-ins with the camera itself. They actually like kind of zoomed in,
Yeah.
or like in post. They would actually just resize the screen,
Yeah.
for those little jump-in cuts to be
Yep.
like, oh look, whoosh, he grabs a fist or something, and then
Yep.
the other guy's like, whoosh, puts a gun up to a guy's nose, and he's like, oh, and you
Yeah.
just get those funny reactions. It's not
like little noises, and they like when those kind of it happens in beats because they almost pause just a little bit in those beats to like really give you like a picture. It's like a I forget what they're called, like a relief or like the stone carvings where
yeah, really.
everybody's it's like a Renaissance type painting where everybody's layered and staggered, and they just pause for
Yeah.
one moment so you can see all the thing, and then it moves on really. But it's such like a split second little pause that almost happens.
so
there.
it's almost like,
Tableaus.
yeah, they have like Susan Sarandon's character, Mom, I guess she didn't have a name.
Yeah.
Mom Racer.
So she says to Speed when he's kind of like, I don't know if I should take this job at Royalton, blah, blah, blah. And she basically says, you know what, Speed, you're a good racer. Every time I watch you, you take my breath away. It's like watching a painter paint. And like that's what a lot of this movie conveys, is like it's artistry more than it's like the substance of everything. But you can read into the subtext of all of it. But
It's not the straight up hitting you over the head. It's the artistry of it.
yeah.
It's not Fast and Furious.
No, it's not that. And like, did
If you're
you
not out
did
of
you
control,
find
you're not
it
in
difficult
control.
to like get into the action knowing that it was all CGI?
No.
No, not at all. It
I
helped.
mean-
it helped.
It's fun. Like,
Well, it's easier when it starts out being CGI and like
Yeah.
and looking quote unquote fake than if you're like it's purported to be like an actual like driving scene, and then it does something where all of a sudden the car turns CGI and it does something weird. That takes you out of it. This doesn't, because it's not that. It's not purported to be this.
Yep.
This is what it is.
yeah, it's
A lot
in
of
this
the-
world, so it makes sense.
A lot of the designs, like the visual designs of how everything looks, like there was that one scene where they're in the helicopter and they're flying over, and he's like, "Oh, hey, look, it's the Grand Prix," and they look down, and that was just so very visually busy, and just you could just
Yep.
see kind of the big old track. But then when you're actually on the tracks, they're actually pretty straightforward and not too over the top, even though there is a lot of color and a lot of like visual variety in what's happening with what they do with
So it was impressive too when you take a shot, like they show like shots of the big city and stuff, and it is super busy. But if you just like paused on it and looked at it, there's so much actual detail in there. It's not just like intentionally busy so we could just fudge it and not whatever. Like it actually looks like a bunch of actual shit.
There is a little bit of that in
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie. The only one time that it stood out as like glaringly looking bad was the very first time, like when Speed comes out of the school and sees Rex. They go into Rex a little bit, and the fence directly behind him, like there was something with the lighting that it just looked really bad. But other than that, like
Yeah.
and the photoshopped head of Ben Burns in that one scene was like one was black and white and his face was sepia. Like
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah,
bad
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Where it was like
It's like the Wild West.
I don't.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yes.
Fun time overall.
Any other motifs you could think of?
No, like not really. Other than like those like when he's driving, those reaction shots of his just grimacing face, like oh, like that happened all the time. in the
Yep,
show.
there was an audible like
Yeah.
they did in the show.
Pops doing the like
Yeah, the
scrunch
pursed
up kind of like
the pursed lips, just scowl.
Fucking Sprite on Chim Chim being in the trunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Getting up to their antics, listening to Freebird.
Yeah,
And the-
that-
well, the
that was
candy
that
was
was
like-
one too. That was obviously like done over like a green screen thing. Like that was
Yep.
super duper obvious.
Yep.
But like, it still works.
It was also meant to be like chaotic with how it was.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think was missing is like a big motif from anime from that time of anime that I really remember is having a character on screen. You see their face, but all the dialogue is from within their own head, and it's their
Oh,
thoughts.
yeah.
And there's that slight echo to it where it
Yeah.
speeds like, and then pops. You know, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that inner monologue kind of.
Yeah, that was the only
Prep.
thing that like I really felt like would have even sold it even more for a little.
Right.
But it was not didn't hurt the movie that it was
No.
missing. Like so.
Not at all. A lot of things that looked like we were saying, like costumes and shit that looked very much 70s anime. Like the dude fucking the dude that with the bushy hair and the mutton chops and the suit and
He
shit.
looked
and-
totally like he belonged in like those mobster movies.
or like Lupin the Third. we
Lupin
were
the
saying.
Third, like type henchmen, and they were
Yeah.
all wearing like pinstripe suits, and they had Tommy guns, and one guy had like a
Bowler
bowler,
hat.
and they had vests and,
And
suspenders.
Yep, they talked British and they kind of had that Cockney.
And that was an interesting
They-
thing too. That like a lot of
Michael
a lot of
Caine.
anime from back in the day did this. Like Astro Boy did it, where you have a melding of different cultures into one super metropolitan
culture.
area that have like it's like Blade Runner and stuff too. You know,
Yep.
like when they're going through Royalton's factory there, everything isn't. There's nothing that is specifically like cultural except for the one part where the guy's eating the noodles in that machine, and that's just a little signifier of like, hey, everything's kind of melded together. So that
Yep.
that's fun that's in there.
Yeah, that was a weird kind of montage of different things that they were showing. Like, hey, we really test our drivers. We have them jump on trampolines and do a bunch of.
we bought.
Well, it's not
cheerleading.
testing. It was to keep them physically fit.
Well, they did some testing too because they were like, we put them through every possible condition,
Right.
and they had the guy sitting in the room that was like refrigerated with all the pengies in it.
Yeah, and the Pangies and
The
little-
Pangadoos.
the G-force machine.
I can't hear you now. What are you doing? Don't really smacking it.
Yeah,
The
that's-
G-force
that's
machine.
loud.
I know.
Well,
Yeah.
Smack.
You want to recommend this to?
Yes.
Would you recommend this to a certain age range?
Everybody. I would say
Everybody.
everybody.
if I had kids to expose this to, I would.
It's great to have nephews that are really into cars.
It's
It's
just
like little kids would
it's-
like it. I think teenagers like it.
There are definitely people that would turn their noses up at it, just visually and
Yeah.
like.
and it was
maybe
so
with the
under the
casting and
radar
stuff.
when it came out.
Yeah. Nobody was talking about like there's a Speed Racer movie. Like
Yeah.
what? Nobody talked about it afterwards. I never heard anybody be like, it was actually pretty good. Like it was
Right.
all just
But yeah, it was one of those
Under
movies
the radar.
too that you weren't supposed to like. You know what I mean?
not really. It wasn't supposed to do.
You weren't
well.
supposed to like because so many people, like you would like was so like overwhelmingly just like, yeah. That it was like if you said you really liked this movie, they'd be like, you don't.
What
Why
kind
do you
of
like Speed
fight
Racer?
do you think the Wachowskis had to put up to like make this movie and put all that passion into it and like make it so true
To make
They-
it the way they made it, a lot.
They won so much credibility with the Matrix. They had carte
Yeah,
blanche
they
with a
could've
lot of
done,
stuff.
That is very good point.
So
Because
they
that was
just
at
chose
the
it.
because when this was made, it was at the start of let's make '80s nostalgia shit.
Yep. Let's jump on the bandwagon of rehashing the 80s.
Yeah.
Like catalog.
Yeah,
All this different
Smurfs
stuff.
and all that shit.
And
Transformers.
and
Yeah.
all kinds of
So
properties.
those people have kids now.
Yep.
So
It's basically
It's
gearing
people.
towards
It's
them.
people our age running businesses now who are like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that thing. Like
Well, it's
pop
like
culture because it's just
These
how-
parents will take their kids to this because they have fond, nostalgic memories about it.
And maybe they did have like they had a story to tell and they just wanted to tell it within the Speed Racer universe. Like
Right.
maybe they took and borrowed a lot of stuff from their revision scripts of Matrix. Who knows? And it's like, hey, this might work in this.
Hey, this
scenario.
Jesus allegory didn't make it into Matrix.
Let's just do that. I mean, a lot of their stuff is totally
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It has mythology. It has subtext of religious tones. It has a bunch of random stuff that you can read into deeper. Like Cloud Atlas
They
is
weren't-
such a cluster of random things.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't kidding when they said that racing is a religion because this seems to be an entire, like the entire city seems to revolve around the industry of racing. Like the whole world almost seems to revolve around the industry of racing
Right.
to some degree, or that it's a very large presence.
But those corporations profit off of the gullible masses that
Yeah.
buy into it.
Well, and you also get like, or at least I did. I get the feeling that like all those people at the end for the Grand Prix when everybody was losing their minds and screaming when
Well, because
race-
it had
when
become a
Speed was-
global thing. Like he was saying, all the
They were brainwashed
all the-
before, and they're realizing right now that Royalton has basically been doing the majority of all the brainwashing and like doing the underhanded dealings and being like the schemer or the Satan and telling everybody about.
It's the globalists.
Yeah,
Well, it's
well,
like-
he's basically playing that conspiracy of
Yeah.
the masses, making them scared of this. And Speed Racers, the holy avenger that comes in, is like,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna overcome this. And then everybody's like freaking out that somebody's actually overcoming all this stuff, and that's what their epiphany is at the end. They're like, holy shit, he's
Well-
actually gonna do it.
Yeah, think about this way, where like everybody that's at the Grand Prix is just representative of how many people in this population are fans of racing and part of the cult or the religion of racing. And then once they have this messianic figure at the end who's pulling off these fucking
That's what the M on the
insane
Mach 5
moves,
stands for.
like
Masonic.
they are just losing their minds because they've been people of faith or people of belief, and now they have something to believe in solidly where they're like, hey, there's our deity, there's our guy who does good, there's our god. They can like have something to rally behind.
Right.
So now the religion is like fully realized.
That's why everybody-
Revived.
That's why they showed everybody around the world. It's like a unifying religion for everybody is
He's
racing.
got the whole world
of the
In
familia,
his hands.
Trunk, his trunk. In his trunk.
in his trunk. He's got the
little
little
boy
in his trunk.
and a chimp. He's not a chimp. He's a
Bonobo in the
bonobo.
movie because I don't know why, but they got bonobos instead of chimps to play chim chim.
Probably easier to work with children.
Ba-ba-dum.
But I think that's probably all we have to really say
Yeah,
about
dude.
the movie. It's definitely go watch it again.
Yep.
If you,
It's on
been a while.
Netflix right now.
Yeah, watch it on
It's-
Netflix.
As of
Yeah,
this
it's on
day,
Netflix.
which is this day currently,
July 15th.
July 13th.
13th, yeah.
As of then, it's on Netflix. Check it
So,
out.
Yeah,
Go give it a watch.
I don't know when
You
they
may
did-
get confused because we weren't going to talk about this, and we probably won't talk about it, but you're looking for Jill and Jana Wachowski.
Lily and Lana.
Hey, Jill and Jana, Lily and Lana.
Yeah.
I was close.
You were
dude.
close,
I
dude.
was
Super close.
You were super
I was
close.
like
That's
two-
why I chuckled, was because
No,
you're so
I honestly
close.
don't
like-
even remember their original names. I just know them by the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
They are
Just the
Eddie.
Wachowskis.
They are Eddie and Thomas.
I don't even
No.
know if that's true.
I
Andy.
know
One
that's
of them
not
was-
true. I
used
just
to be-
made up two names.
Their old name. Doesn't matter now.
Their,
No, I don't
old,
even
their
know.
old name is he. Their new name is she. But we're not going to talk about that.
No.
No, I'm into the just calling them Wachowskis because that's what I remember whenever Matrix came out. I'm like, oh, the Wachowski movie.
Yeah.
It was never just by
Well,
a
they-
Scorsese.
Yeah.
I don't call him a Martin Scorsese
Oh,
movie.
hello,
I call him-
Martin.
it's a Scorsese movie.
Right.
going to
'Cause they
see
used to
Martin
quite
movie.
frequently, and that's how they were credited, was as the Wachowski brothers. But but more often than not, it's like that's a mouthful to say anyway. So just Wachowskis.
I didn't even say brothers. I said it's just the Wachowskis.
Like,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that was too much. Like that's even more than you need to say.
I was just
You
lazy with my words.
Wachowskis.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Or when this movie came out, I'm like, oh, let's go see the new
Wachowski movie.
Wachowski movie.
Yeah.
shorten it even more.
Yeah.
It's not plural. It's just the proper noun of Wachowski, naming them all.
So yeah, if you liked everything in the Wachowski catalog, give this a watch. If you like energetic, colorful films geared for kids, but has like a lot of adult themes too.
If you like Speed Racer, watch this movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just a general fan of the property, and watching this, I was like, hell yes, give me more of this. Like and the way that they set it up at the end too, they left it wide open for a sequel where Racer X is like, he's in their world now. Like I won't be able to watch out for him forever.
Right.
And like there was a character arc for Speed, and like everything's ready to go for a next one. Like I would love that.
That'd be
10
cool.
years later.
That'd be so cool if they
Just
went back to
imagine
it.
like what they can do now after they did Jupiter Rising.
Jupiter Ascending.
Ascending, yeah.
I know. I'm being stupid. They
With,
they made Jupiter up.
What's his name?
Charming Tater.
No. No,
Charming wolf boy with skates.
the
He was the lead. in
Eddie
that, though.
Redmayne. Wasn't that his name?
What?
The main character was played by Charming Tater.
No, the
Yeah.
bad guy in there.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
I don't know.
It was.
Yeah, it was Eddie Redmayne, the bad guy.
Where he was like, "Hi, yeah, the bad guy."
Yeah.
It was so.
It's just like whisper arch, like.
Yeah.
But enough of that. That's another movie
Another
for another
time.
day. If we
Nah,
get
Maybe.
to
I don't know about that.
Maybe.
I don't know about that. You're gonna have to do some convincing.
But yep, hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I
Discussion.
did enjoy
Not
this discussion
us.
and the movie.
Not
the film.
us. The other us.
I'm just saying, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Would you
Well-
rather I say "fuck you, Eric"?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But not this time because go Speed Racer.
Go.
Any
go.
any ideas for a little teaser of what's next?
You want to do some body horror?
I can do that.
I'm down.
I'm
Okay.
down for whatever.
Or
dude.
some horror.
Horror? Because have
Or
you
some
guys
horror.
seen a lot of Cronenberg? I got
No.
I got Scanners and I got Naked Lunch.
I'm down for anything.
I can
Can we
show
do
you
a
guys.
lunch scanner?
I can do this Naked Lunch. You
A
guys,
scanner lunchly.
you'll kind of get creeped out by that maybe,
Good. And yeah,
or whatever you guys want to try.
We also just did a digression session, so go listen to that too.
It was
Oh, yeah, that'll-
superheroes.
There's a lot of superhero stuff.
A lot of superhero stuff.
Because we were
Mainly
talking,
superhero stuff.
we were talking for a while, and then all of a sudden it was just like,
I'm gonna
I
record.
want to record this. So then
Yeah,
we
it
got
could've
you got
been-
the back half of it.
It could have
was
been much
pretty good.
longer.
No, it was good, and we're probably gonna
Yeah.
prolong that digression into another digression later
Because
about.
that spawned something else.
And you'll
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
have to listen to that one,
I wonder what it is.
and we'll leave it at that.
Oh, you gonna do
I hope you guys enjoyed. We didn't even introduce ourselves, by the way, at the beginning.
Oh
so-
shit!
If
You probably know
if you
from
don't know
watching
about
the
Oh,
new-
this is basic. This is basic ass video / podcast / radio shit. You just introduce yourself all the time, every one.
Yeah, but they should know. who
That's
we are.
Tyler. Tyler just spoke.
That was me.
That was him, and then it was Wilson.
Hello, I am Wilson.
I am here to
talk
about the there's me, movie Eric.
called Speed Racer.
That's me, Eric, and
Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Speed
We're going to
Racer.
watch more movies next time.
It's an allegory for Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus went fast.